Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, talks between the U.S. and Ukrainian officials are set to resume after last week's turbulent Oval Office meeting. And lawmakers in West Virginia discuss a bill to establish the death penalty as a punishment for anyone charged with killing a law enforcement officer or first responder.
And welcome to the weekend. We need the raincoat or the sunglasses. Details coming up.
Dedicated to Southern and Eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Amelia Lee. We begin with breaking news in Perry County. Police say a section of Combs Road is closed due to a crash. Police say they responded to the crash between a motorcycle and another vehicle just after 4 this afternoon. They say from the exit to get off Kentucky 15 to get onto Route 550 through the area close to Primary Care Center is where that road is shut down. And we will update this story when we get more information.
Oh, the weekend is here and it was overall quiet today. We had a little bit of shower activity in the morning hours. Then we had sunny skies. Now the clouds are thickening up yet again. Temperatures right now are in the upper 40s and low 50s, even mid 50s from Boonville to Manchester to London over towards Williamsburg. Look at Monticello, 58 degrees. All is quiet right now on live pinpoint Doppler radar. This will change as we go throughout the evening and overnight hours as that small chance of shower activity pushes through. Not everybody will see it. But if you do see it, it'll last maybe 15-20 minutes and then it will be out of here. And you can see on our tower cam the clouds starting to pick up as we go throughout the next several hours. You can see we'll stay mainly cloudy. We'll see a temperature of 52 by the 7 o'clock hour, staying in the mid 50s throughout the evening and overnight hours. But the weekend is upon us. How does that weekend forecast shape up? I'll have that detail coming up in the First Alert forecast in a few minutes. Amelia.
All right, thank you, Eric. Well, President Donald Trump says Ukraine needs to move quickly to agree to a ceasefire and a peace deal. And he issued a rare threat against Russia as a result of increased strikes on Ukraine. CBS's Erica Brown has more details from the White House.
Ukrainian firefighters worked to put out the flames after a drone strike hit this house in the Odessa region. The Ukrainian Air Force said Russia launched at least 58 missiles and nearly 200 drones overnight targeting energy facilities.
Right now, they're bombing the hell out of Ukraine.
President Trump had this message for Russia on social media Friday. I am strongly considering large-scale banking sanctions and tariffs on Russia until a ceasefire and final settlement agreement on peace is reached. Despite the threat, Trump says he thinks Russia is ready to negotiate.
I've always had a good relationship with Putin. And, you know, he wants to end the war. He wants to end it. And I think he's going to be more generous than he has to be.
After last week's derailed meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, the administration is planning talks with Ukrainian officials in Saudi Arabia next week. Friday, President Trump also had more to say about tariffs against key U.S. trading partners. He acknowledged consumers could feel some temporary disturbance as he threatened Canada with reciprocal tariffs on dairy and lumber products.
Canada has been ripping us off for years on tariffs for lumber and for dairy products. 250%, nobody ever talks about that. 250% tariff, which is taking advantage of our farmers.
The administration is also expanding its efforts to slash the size of the government. The Department of Homeland Security announced Friday it is ending a collective bargaining agreement that provided union protections to TSA workers. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
President Donald Trump also announced the creation of a task force to ensure that next year's Soccer World Cup tournament being hosted in the U.S., Canada, and Mexico goes smoothly. Well, Democratic attorneys general from several states and D.C. are suing the Trump administration over the government's layoffs of thousands of federal employees. They say the layoffs are inflicting economic harm on their states. They say in addition to the harm the layoffs are causing to the employees, the mass terminations are costing their state's tax revenue. Lawmakers have until next Friday to come to an agreement on government funding. This comes as Congress is caught up in debating President Donald Trump's budget priorities. For now, a continuing resolution would keep top-line spending at their current levels, which in effect is a cut due to increased costs and changing needs. The Freedom Caucus, a group of far-right Republicans, are typically against CRs, but caucus chair Andy Harris says they trust the president's plan.
Look, the president has indicated, the president's made it clear the administration will withhold funding that's inappropriately spent. Whether or not there's a CR or not, or an appropriations bill, the president will withhold funding.
Democrats say the president's ability to control funding and use it as a political leverage is a poison pill for them. The House is expected to take its first floor votes Tuesday. Lawmakers in West Virginia are discussing a bill to establish the death penalty as a punishment for anyone charged with killing a law enforcement officer or first responder. The bill outlines sentencing procedures, including aggravating and mitigating circumstances considered by a jury. There would be an automatic review process by the state Supreme Court. It's also been assigned for review by the Senate Finance Committee. Panicked conversations between two surviving roommates in the University of Idaho murders case were revealed in newly released text messages yesterday. 4 students were brutally killed at an off-campus residence in the town of Moscow in 2022. The students were texting about a masked man dressed in black in their house around the time police believe the victims were being killed. The suspect, Brian Koberger, faces 4 charges of first-degree murder. The future of the nation's Department of Education is in limbo. President Donald Trump was vocal during his campaign about wanting it to be closed. And now in the Oval Office, he has vowed to sign an executive order soon to formalize its dismantling. Throughout the nation, educators, families, lawmakers, legal teams, and students themselves are weighing their next moves as the funding, services, programs, and loans they rely on could come to a halt. CNN's Laura Aguirre has the story.
Do we need this department?
No.
Education Secretary Linda McMahon on Fox News this morning, backing her boss on his plans to level her department.
Ultimately, we want to close the Federal Department of Education.
Promises on the campaign trail last fall could soon be signed as a presidential executive order. As for the nearly 4,300 employees working for McMahon,
In a country where we right now have over 8 million openings in jobs, I think there'd be a lot of places for them to go. We'd like to help them get there.
she suggests the nation isn't getting its money's worth from the DOE.
Since the Department of Education was established in 1980, we've spent over $1 trillion to see our scores continue to go down.
She is wrong.
Lisa Quant is a special education teacher in Illinois.
You cannot base everything on this testing. That's absolutely ludicrous.
McMahon points to the nation's report card, also called the NAEP, which for 2024 shows overall scores ticking up and down or staying the same in subjects like math and reading, depending on the grade level. Quant says other critical services eclipse test scores.
Things like occupational therapy, speech and language, mental health support.
What he's doing is harming people.
Matt Platkin is New Jersey's Attorney General, one of the states suing the Trump administration over agency cuts like this.
There's a way to do this. He can go to Congress. He's not even properly attempting to follow the legal process laid out in our Constitution.
The White House did not respond to a request for comment. I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
At the college level, the future of higher education loans is also in question. This week, President Trump acknowledged that the more than $1.6 trillion in outstanding student debt is a complicating factor in his effort to shutter the agency, adding that the debt could land at Treasury, Commerce, or the Small Business Administration. Well, a new poll shows that few Americans want lawmakers to slash federal spending on Medicaid. Republicans proposed the idea to cut hundreds of billions of dollars from the federal health insurance program. Those savings would help pay for extending the 2017 Trump tax cuts. But KFF, a nonpartisan health research group, found only 17% of people support that decision. 42% of those polled say they want to increase Medicaid spending. The Vatican says Pope Francis had a peaceful night as he continued to battle double pneumonia. According to a Vatican source, he appears to be stable. He continues to alternate between non-invasive mechanical ventilation at night and high-flow oxygen therapy through the nose. The Pope released an audio message last night thanking supporters for their prayers. Another prayer service for the Pope is being hosted in St. Peter's Square today. In France, some commotion caused the busiest train station in Paris to shut down. Authorities canceled all high-speed trains between Paris and London, Brussels and Belgium after an unexploded World War II bomb was discovered. Bomb disposal experts were brought in to defuse the device. Bombs left over from the First or Second World War are often found around France, but it's rare to discover them in a location packed with people. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, we take a look at the first jobs report under the current Trump administration.
And get ready for a taste of spring. Details coming up.